So I already talked about this earlier today during my Coffee Talk live stream, which you can be a part of if you're a Patreon member, link in the description. I was really excited about Alex Burke's last post. He posted a really awesome photo of the lunar eclipse shot with Ektachrome on 4x5. The reason it was cool, initially I thought it was a composite. Like I thought he took a bunch of pictures and then it went in Photoshop and like stuck them all together. Turns out it was one sheet of film, multiple exposures, but the way he did it was so simple and brilliant that it made me really excited. I was like super obsessed with the image and it really inspired me to try something new. And so it just so happened also that I had purchased a 10-sheet box of Ektachrome from Freestyle. This showed up in the mail last week, actually right before he posted. And I bought this because I really love Ektachrome. I love slide film, but Ektachrome specifically, when Kodak reintroduced this a couple years ago, I was really excited. And I've been trying to shoot it as much as possible, though it is expensive. But 10 sheets of 4x5 is more affordable than a 5-pack of Ektachrome 120 right now. So I got this, and I was already thinking about trying to do some nighttime photography with my speed graphic. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to shoot. I think I want to try something similar to what Alex did. Not exactly, because we don't have another lunar eclipse happening anytime soon, I don't think. And I also am not near any prairies or homesteads. What I'm gonna do tonight is I'm gonna load up a couple sheets of Ektachrome, go out and find something to shoot. I have some ideas, but I think I'm gonna drive around a little bit to see if I can find something inspiring. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm actually super excited. I haven't done this in a long time, so should be fun. I've just been talking to this camera for a whole 4 minutes and didn't realize that it was not recording. My goal tonight is just to find a composition that looks really cool with this low light. I haven't done a lot of night shooting. I've done some recently with the new Kodak Golden 120. I wanted to see what that looked like at night with long exposures. Yeah, I haven't really done a lot, and I'm really starting to be more inspired to shoot at night. And after seeing Alex's photo of the lunar eclipse, like I wish I would have come up with that idea, because it's such an awesome photo. It's so beautiful. I'm inspired. I'm going out in a very Thomas Heaton style and just kind of driving out till I find something. We're losing light fast, which is okay because I'm gonna stop somewhere soon, but the sky in front of me looks insane this direction, so I'm driving this way. The sun's going down and the sky is it's overcast, but the sky over there is like peachy and dark and bright and really cool looking. So I think that I will find a composition in this direction. Also, I think I just found another place I would want to photograph later when it's dark out. There's a huge line back there, but there's a barbecue place that has really cool lighting along the side. That might be cool to shoot it at night. Oh, this is pretty. Okay, all right, I found what I want to shoot. I found it. I think I found it. I'm driving really recklessly. Don't do this. Don't drive like me. Oh, it's going down really quick. Shit. Okay, I've got to find, we're gonna abandon that idea because it would be hiding the sky. I want to get the sky, so I gotta find a place that has a little less trees and a little clearer view of the sky in that direction. I think I might have found something. It's a park. It's not the most groundbreaking locale, but maybe there's something over in that park that will be cool to photograph. I see like kind of a gazebo thing off in the distance. I haven't planned for this. I didn't plan to go shooting like this. I didn't plan for this at all. I just knew I wanted to do this. I wanted to go out, but I didn't go scouting or anything. So I'm just flying by the seat of my pants and losing light really fast because I was processing film earlier and I had to wait for the film to be done processing so that I could leave. I would have liked to have left earlier so I could have done some scouting, but poor time management is my middle name. I think we found it. I think we found it. I said that like 4 times already, but I think that I might have actually found it this time. Maybe. It's hard because as the sun's going down, the light's getting lower and I'm losing it past sky, like past buildings. Oh shit, can I do this U-turn? Oh, okay, that was a very bad idea. But we're doing it, we're here. Okay, can I do this? Is this a good composition? I don't know, I don't know. I have to decide right now. We're going for it. Okay, we're going for it. So I only brought one film holder with 2 sheets of film because this is kind of like a weird experiment, and I don't want to shoot a bunch of film that doesn't come out well because I'm not sure this is what I want to do yet. So I'm gonna take 2 quick frames really quick right now before the light goes, and then yeah. All right. All right, so at f11, 1 second. So here goes nothing for the first exposure. We're cocked. No shutter release. Here we go. Delicately as possible. Oh no, didn't like that. I'm not entirely confident in the shutter speeds of this old lens, but I don't have another option right now. I've lost the light that I came here for, unfortunately, but that is down to poor planning. That's just what happens when you don't plan out. All right, still at about a second, so. Man, if these clouds weren't here, this would be a little different. But, all right, f11, 1 second, no shutter release. Just a hope and a prayer. Wait for these cars to go. All right, it's go time. I'm gonna wait for these cars to go because I want to get some light streaks in this one. Light's turning red. And this light's turning green. Here we go. 3, 2. That's 2 frames. We'll see. In his blog post, Alex had mentioned that in describing how he got the lunar eclipse image, he mentioned that he metered the scene with his mirrorless camera. So I know people do that, but I hadn't really thought that that was something that people did when taking what I would think would be metering critical scenes that you really need to get right or it will screw up what you're trying to do. But it kind of makes sense. I mean, we all know that aperture to aperture is not apples to apples. So like my Kodak Ektachrome lens on my speed graphic is not going to be the same at f8 that the f8 on my Fuji lens is going to be, but it's going to be close enough. I'm taking a little bit of a gamble doing this, but yeah, I metered the scene with this Fuji XE3 and this 18 to 55 Fuji lens, partly because I wanted to try that out and see what that entailed and if that actually gets me to a place I want to be as far as my exposure goes. It seems like kind of a crazy idea, but it seems also kind of obvious, so I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. I took 2 exposures. I have no idea how accurate the shutter speeds on the on this lens are. So I don't know if I got anything good or if they're going to turn out the way I hoped, but I didn't plan this well, so I didn't get the light I was hoping for anyway. But based on the exposures I took, it should at least be a pretty nice image and a good test for this kind of photography. So I'm excited to see what happens. Worst case scenario, it wasn't the best of circumstances and I didn't do the best job making sure I got the best shots that I could, but that's photography, that's learning, baby. This feels like a very Thomas Heaton video, and I'm not mad about it. I love Thomas Heaton. It feels good to be out trying things and learning, and I encourage you to do the same. But it's cold now, so I'm gonna go back home. I'm going to throw these 2 exposures into the tank, develop them, and yeah, we'll see what happened. Don't let anyone ever tell you that planning isn't cool. Planning is very cool. When you don't plan or you don't have a solid idea of what you're going to do, you end up scrambling at the last minute to make things kind of come together, and it's not a fun feeling. Especially when you get finished with what you're doing and the end product is not what you hoped for. I should have brought my shutter release cable. That would have been very helpful instead of trying to very carefully release the shutter on an old camera. That was a rookie move. And I should have scouted. I really like being kind of loose with my plans, which is why this is kind of how this went down. The thrill of not knowing what the hell you're doing is kind of fun, but it's also detrimental to everything else. Unless your plan is to go out and be surprised by what you find. I could have benefited for, just the amount of time I had light, for location, all sorts of things. There's stuff I wish I could have done differently already. But this is okay. This is like an initial first try of an idea that I literally just had a couple days ago because another photographer did something really, really cool. I'm sure Alex Burke plans his photos much better than I do. I'm also not trying to copy his work or be like him. I am just truly inspired by the stuff he's been doing, his landscapes. If you don't follow Alex Burke, I should have said that at the top. If you don't follow Alex Burke's work, you should. Even if you're not a landscape photographer, his work is really great. I am my own hindrance most of the time. It's not other people, it's not money, it's not time, it's not ability, it's not my equipment. It's just that I'm a ding-dong and I don't plan very well. I processed and scanned both sheets of Ektachrome, and I thought I could really quickly go over what I like about these images, what I don't like, what I thought was successful, what happened. So here are both the images. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not exactly sure why they are so different, but I think I have some explanations. These 2 images were metered less than 2 minutes apart from each other. The light couldn't have changed all that much. The differences in these images I'm gonna chalk up to shutter speed variations with that really old Kodak lens. So in this first image, everything is a little more washed out. It seems like it was open for longer than a second. When I look at the image I took with the XE3 that I used to determine this exposure, there was not nearly as much exposure and detail in the foreground. The grass looked a little more subdued, and the sky also looked a lot less exposed. But when I took this exposure at 1 second f11, I got this very kind of washed out image, which, a lot less detail in the sky than I expected. It looks brighter than when I was there. It doesn't look exactly the same. The shutter stayed open for longer than a second. In this second exposure, this is more of what I was expecting. This was more similar to what I metered with the XE3. So this is very similar to the picture I took. I do think it still looks a bit brighter and a bit different than what I was seeing with my eyes. But I think this is closer to what reality was when I was there. In fact, thinking about it now, this is pretty close to what I was expecting. Like I said earlier in the video, I had lost most of the light I was there for. In the background where that red light is, kind of where you see way off in the background, that church steeple in between those buildings that are kind of closer to the middle of the exposure or middle of the frame. That back there was like really peachy and bright and cool looking, and that was what I was going for when I wanted to take this picture. But yeah, it had dipped kind of low and there's too many clouds there, and that effect was kind of lost. But that's okay, because I kind of like the quality of light that's kind of falling on everything. I think this is a success in that I think that I got a great image, and metering with the camera like I was trying for the first time, it worked out. It like did what I wanted to do, which is really interesting, because normally in this situation I would take my spot meter and try to meter out, you know, find out where things were falling and then calculate an exposure from there. But this was much quicker. You know, if you have a shutter that's working on your main camera, then you can probably rely on this pretty consistently. So this was cool. Like I said before, this is just my first initial try in kind of like getting something on film that's in the realm of what I'm trying to do. And this was kind of like a twilight-ish exposure. I probably took this a little earlier than I would want to. In it, you know, if I were to do this again, I would wait for later. But being that it was overcast and that the light was failing a little faster, this is what I ended up with. And like I said, I don't hate it. I think this is really cool. And I learned a lot. And so the next time I'll be ready. I learned that scout. Go out and find a location that you want to shoot. Scouting is really important and super critical to getting what's in your head onto film or megapixels or whatever you're doing. I'd bring a shutter release. That's the second thing. Bring my loop. I didn't bring my loop with me. And so I had to kind of guess on exposure, or not exposure. I had to guess on focusing, because I couldn't get critical focus because all I had was the ground glass and the hood. Couldn't get close enough to look. So it was hard to focus. So get my lens fixed or get a different lens. I have to get a different lens for my speed graphic. That Ektar lens, the speeds, especially the slower speeds, are just not accurate and reliable or consistent. So I think this was fun. I had a good time doing this. Again, I should have been more prepared, but sometimes you just go out there and try stuff and see what happens. And I think that even though I wasn't super prepared, this informed me in a lot of ways that are going to be really helpful the next time I go out and do this, which will be sometime this week. Yeah, part 2 coming soon, I guess. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you coming to this channel and supporting me and watching my videos. If you want to support this channel further and you want to be a part of the really awesome community we have built at my Discord with other photographers and creatives and really cool people, you can join my Patreon. It's super inexpensive. The link's in the description. I give away expired film every month. Check my Patreon out. The description has the link. And if you have questions about this, if you want to talk about your large format stuff, leave me a comment. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.